This week in Beyond the Headlines, Little Dix Resort making moves to buy local.
For the past 3.5 years since we got on board with Heyman, we try to involve in a lot of local products, like you said about the spices and the herbs and stuff like that. And that's what we've been doing, trying to purchase anything that is grown on the island and try to utilize it and make menus from it.
And Tortola are BVI Basketball Champs.
We have some good youngsters, and it's because of the program, that the BD program, where they keep walking and walking, you know, and Paul Dosenkoi, they come on to put up a fight, but we had a little too much manpower for them.
The Little Dix Resort, located on Virgin Gorda, has taken a unique approach to getting an even more unique message out to the public about their intention to create Caribbean dishes for its visitors using locally produced foods. During an open house for members of the media, which was hosted by Little Dix executive chef Hemant Dadlani, originally from India, and chef de cuisine Alex Alexander from Grenada, it was revealed that visitors to the BVI come with the expectation of experiencing the Caribbean, not only through its beaches and foliage, but through its food as well. And one way to accomplish this is to provide them with local dishes that offer the taste and smell of the Caribbean. Alexander explained that since Dadlani came on board with the Little Dix Resort just over 3 years ago, the goal has been to buy local foods as far as possible and build their menus around these foods.
For the past 3.5 years since we got on board with Heyman, we try to involve in a lot of local products, like you said about the spices and the herbs and stuff like that. And that's what we've been doing, trying to purchase anything that is grown on the island and try to utilize it and make menus from it.
Dadlani gave a brief history of his background as a chef working in Curacao and St. Lucia, and he spoke about the availability of fresh produce for the chefs to work with there, which was well received. He noted that this freshness, which they termed from the farm to the plate, was something that every chef enjoyed.
I was fortunate enough to work in St. Lucia, and before that was in Curacao. So in Curacao it was very interesting to see that how the products were coming straight from Venezuela, Curacao being so close to Venezuela. So we as the chefs were very, very spoiled. You know, all we had to do is just drive down or just go down to a nice open market where you have the boats lined up from Venezuelan market, and they come there. You know, it just takes about a couple of hours to get from Venezuelan coast to Curacao. And it was fantastic to see all kinds of vegetation and the products that they were bringing with them, and we were able to incorporate in our cuisines over there in Curacao. Then when I moved to St. Lucia, it was a heaven for us, because it's St. Lucia being a volcanic island, and especially our resort had our own estate with the farms, and we were doing we were able to use or utilize a lot of fruits, including vanilla beans, for example, were local, the cocoa pods, the coconuts, the herbs, the lettuces, and many different things that we were able to grow. And so that's the kind of the cuisine I think every chef enjoys, the freshness from the farm to the plate. Basically, that's the idea.
Chef Dadlani revealed during the discussions with the media that the concept to buy local produce was introduced on a small scale by him through Little Dix staff who had small gardens at their homes, which the kitchen would support by buying the goods they provided. As a result, the gardens expanded and began including more foods, which Little Dix continues to use in their dishes.
It started from a little so-called a cottage business. So they were trying to grow these little amounts in the homes, and we were able to locate, show interest, and start buying them. So what has happened now over the period of a couple of years, that many more people in Virgin Gorda are interested in doing that. All we are doing is providing an area where they can come and sell their products. So that became a very, very interesting thing for us. So you don't need a huge farm, you don't need a huge area to be successful in that, and but a collective effort, a small collective effort from so many different places provides us with enough.
Dadlani also explained that this was one of the resort's ways of going green, as buying locally produced goods cuts down on the need for importing foods which come on boats that ultimately emit carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, adding to the greenhouse effect.
We used to, a few years ago, just to give you an example, our basil and most of our herbs were coming all the way from Israel and all the way from France. So imagine just a pound of basil which is coming from Israel or from France. It's coming, imagine how it is coming here. It is either flown in or by ships or however it takes. The footprint is so long. You're talking about, you know, a week of traveling for that particular herb. And on top of that, at Little Dix Bay we are trying our level best to go green. And this is our effort in the kitchen to contribute to that concept of go green, because the herb that is traveling all the way from France is producing that carbon footprint. So all that carbon dioxide which is emitted in the environment is contributing to the global warming thing. So in our very small way or very limited way, we are trying to at least eliminate as much as possible.
According to Dadlani, although the majority of the 200 products that they use weekly at the resort are not produced locally, they do try as far as possible to obtain those that are produced locally from local producers.
We use 200 different kind of produce on a given week in Little Dix Bay. So those 200 different kind of produce are not all able to grow on this island. So even if there are those 10 or 15 items that are growing, so those 10 or 15 items we try to utilize at least 80 to 90% only locally. For example, like Alex mentioned, papaya. So right now we are not importing any papayas. So every papaya is coming from somebody's house or somebody's little farm. So, and we are able to get enough of it to survive on our consumptions.
One of the incentives being used at present by the Little Dix Kitchen to encourage farmers to produce more and expand on the variety of food and livestock they provide is the assurance that the resort will in fact purchase and use whatever they produce. Dadlani gave the example of one such farmer on Virgin Gorda who wanted to go into rabbit farming, but he wasn't sure whether or not there would be a market for it.
He had this great idea of having this rabbit farm, for example, right? So, but he was not sure whether he will be able to, or if there will be a market for his product in here on the island. So when he came up with this idea, we created a relationship with him that we have said that, okay, as soon as your livestock is ready to sell, we will set you a price and everything, and definitely we will commit to whatever he is producing to buying it. So that is a big incentive for any farmer to go in. At least everybody wants a return for their investment, and everybody wants to feel comfortable and safe with whatever they are doing. So at least that kind of commitment we can provide. And so, you know, for example, another example is a lot of our local or small scale lobstermen, they will want to go out only when they have, you know, when they are able to sell everything off. So with the relationship that we have with them is like, you know, we will call them before they go, for example, or they will call us before they go, that, okay, chef, we are going out today or tomorrow, whenever it is, do you need lobsters? And we will tell them that how much we can take, for example, 150 pounds, 200 pounds, whatever the number is. So accordingly they can, so they have that safety and commitment from us that we are going to buy that product from them. So they don't have to just go out and then take a risk and then try to sell off in, you know, 30 pounds here, 20 pounds there and stuff. So that's a big incentive.
Regarding the visitors that come to the BVI and the Caribbean on a whole to experience local food, Dadlani said that it adds to the experience for such persons when the chefs are able to say that the foods they are eating were actually grown locally.
If we are able to say that, okay, you know, our 50% or 60% of the local produce or the produce itself is the shelf life or the footprint is so small that it is all grown locally, it is a great guest experience. You imagine, the guests are coming from outside to experience Caribbean for a reason. Right? They come here for hospitality, they come here for the culture, they come here to experience new foods, to experience all that, and Caribbean in general is considered to be a healthy place. And if we can translate that into the daily food consumptions, then you're talking, straight away that it's a great guest experience.
Dadlani also touched on hydroponic farming, which will be utilized by the greenhouses both on Virgin Gorda and Tortola, along with organic farming, to produce food for the territory as well as for export. Dadlani said that even with the hydroponic farming, the greenhouses will have to follow the regulations set up by the Agriculture Department, which would ensure that chemicals and fertilizers used in both farming methods are harmless to the consumers.
With the local organic farming, we have a very good relationship with the local agriculture department. So local agriculture department is the one who actually ensures that everything is as per their rules. So we are again basically the consumers of the products that are grown here. So that's where it stands. With the hydroponics, again, it is kind of a misconception that it cannot be called an organic farming. However, it's a misconception.
It restricts you in the kind of fertilizer you use.
It restricts us, but again, at the end of the day, whatever is used in the hydroponic farming is absolutely with zero harm. And again, they have to, if it's their business, they have to go through all the specifications set up by the agriculture department. And if agriculture department has certain criteria, then anybody who is in the business has to follow, basically.
At the end of the open forum, members of the media were taken to various small farms across Virgin Gorda, where produce are grown that are purchased and transformed into delicacies by chefs at the resort's kitchen. Although only a small percentage of food prepared at the kitchen currently comes from the local farmers, it is the hope of the Little Dix Resort that more residents will become involved in producing and supplying produce, not only for Little Dix, but for other local kitchens who will also begin to invest in buying locally and share the flavors that the BVI has to offer. This is Walter Barrett, Beyond the Headlines. The atmosphere was tense as Tortola prepared to face off against St. Croix for the title of 2011 VI BD Basketball Champions, and the BVI All-Stars got ready for their matchup against St. Thomas for second place. Several local fans came out to support the home team, who had more than just a title to play for, but their country as well, not wanting to allow St. Croix to win the title for a fourth year. Before the championship game got underway, JTV News spoke with Tortola coach Morrison Watley and St. Croix coach Paul Ice Jones to hear what their strategies were going into the game.
We just come out to play hard. Everybody play a complete game, team play together and take what we get. We got in for the goal. If we come up short, that's okay, but we coming out hard to defend the country.
Tonight my strategy is for this game, at some point we're going to have to box number 8 for BVI. He's just too dominant to let him have his own way. I'm going to go with my press at certain times, and at 1 to 2 I'm going to hold it and box it in to close in my zone. And depends on how the game goes is how I'm going to strategize.
Tortola played a good defensive first half, although St. Croix seemed to match the home side's pace at every turn. By the end of the first half, the score was 11-9 in favor of Tortola, reflecting much of how the first half went for both sides, who did not get to the scoreboard as much as either would have liked to. During the halftime break, both teams received some advice from their coaches as they prepared to go into the third, advice that would prove to change the momentum of the game when the third quarter got underway. During the halftime intermission, JTV News spoke with the head coach of St. Croix and Tortola, who shared their game plans with us and spoke about how they thought the game was going thus far.
Oh, very close game. I mean, they had us by the throat, and my second squad actually bring us back within reach. Now it's typically anybody ball game. They're playing excellent. We just got to find a way to slow them down. I think I find a way, but this quarter is going to determine it.
This quarter going to be a big quarter to test and see where we're going from here. It's just some little simple mistake they were doing. We correct it in terms of talking about it. So it's about seeing the difference when we start the third quarter.
Also during the half, the coaches spoke with their teams, motivating them before the second half began and giving some final instructions as to what they wanted from each of the players for the rest of the game.
Nice work, baby. Nice work. Listen to me. That's it. Where is Cookie? Where's Cookie? Look. Listen. How much seconds? Yes, 2 seconds in the game.
No matter what happened, whether you score, you score, you got to run back and turn around from the half court to play the back. As you score, say, right down the throat coming. They're going to celebrate the time. You come man to man, you go in the post, you can't fight in the post. Be more spirit and look for it.
The third quarter saw a difference as Tortola rallied to a 32-18 lead over the three-time defending champs, making good on almost every drive to the basket that they made and securing a comfortable score going into the final quarter. When the fourth and final quarter began, it was St. Croix who turned on the heat, making every effort possible to cut down Tortola's edge and take back the lead. But it was not meant to be, as Tortola held off the late attacks by St. Croix and ensured that they took the title of BVI Basketball Champions in front of the home crowd. JTV spoke with the coaches once again after the game and heard from them what their thoughts were on the final outcome, as Tortola managed what some would see as an upset, while others would see it as a fitting end to the competition, which was hosted on home soil.
This tournament, this is the fourth year. St. Croix won the first three, and St. Croix beat us by one last year. It wasn't no fluke, they played well. But we put in the time and we have some good youngsters, and it's because of the program, that the BD program, where they keep walking and walking. You know, and power to St. Croix, they come on to put up a fight. But we had a little too much manpower for them.
Well, what a game. What can I say about these guys? These guys play an awesome game. We gave them everything we had, and what we had wasn't close to enough. These guys play an awesome game. They demolished my press. These guys were flying. They weren't even jumping. They were flying. I mean, I can't take nothing from them. We just gotta go home and regroup. This team here, I just put together, and I was confident in it. But we gotta go home and regroup because these guys, they're there.
JTV News also heard from some of the Tortola players who were eager to say how they felt about the game.
My name is Jomari Dagu. I mean, it was like a game of basketball. I went 1 year and I lose. I had to win this one, eh? So I had to play good for the team. I never practice a dunk. No, I just come and perform them.
My name is Demoy Hodge. The coach does take our time and play the game properly. They were good. I know we would have win this year.
My name is Trent Howard, and the coach is telling us don't rush the ball, and we have to take our time and slow down the ball and those things. Yeah, so we just have to try our best. And we know we were going to win. So
my name is Taj Malone. Our coach said us to come out here to do our best. Last year we lose by 1 point against St. Croix, and we come out here to do our best and win. So yeah, we win it this year. Last year we had faith in ourselves to win, but we lost by 1 point. That was a layup. But this year, no, we had faith in ourselves. We had a better team, better encouragement, more teamwork. We pass the ball and the kind of stuff. So that's why we come out on top. The check why saying we in the books now.
In the matchup for third place, St. Thomas took a 26-18 win over the BVI All-Star team. After their game, JTV News spoke with the St. Thomas head coach, who said that the games were more than just who won and who lost. He also spoke about the spirit of togetherness that existed throughout the competition, which he said he hopes continues throughout the future.
I love it. I love the tournament. The people at BVI were really hospitable to us, and we give thanks for that, and looking forward for when they come St. Thomas or when we come back here again. At our time, we want to keep this going forever. If we could keep this going forever, once I have breath, I will be here with my St. Thomas team for sure.
Tortola said they will be ready to defend their newly acquired trophy come next year. But according to St. Croix, that is a prediction left to be seen. This is Walter Barrett, Beyond the Headlines.